What problems are we trying to solve here as growing in community?
Impact definitely has to be transformation because there are a lot of great initiatives and organizations that are, spreading the awareness, the mental health awareness, and a lot of young people are cognizant of that. But what we really want to see is people coming and not leaving the same way. Is it just a woman thing? Is it just for ladies? Please, Marcel. Please answer the question. Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to the Growing in Community podcast, season 3 actually, and the best part is we are finally available on YouTube, not just on Spotify, not just on Apple, but on YouTube, meaning you can now see us at the same time. This podcast isn't just about having mental health conversations, but it's about inviting you into the space and really meeting you and having conversations that meet you exactly where you are. My name is Suzette and I will be your host, and today it's an extra special episode because I am joined by an incredible woman who is helping me shape Growing in Community into being the space that both you and I know it can bloom into. So that being said, let's dig into today's episode. But before we get into that, if you want to partner with us or you want to support us in any way, then please do follow us on social media, on our social media platforms, or simplest way that you can also do that is by subscribing so that we can grow and reach more people. So with that being said, let's get into today's episode.
This podcast is proudly brought to you in partnership with Atlantis Luxury Suites Swakopmund, where every moment feels like an escape. Welcome to a state that truly lives up to its name. At Atlantis Luxury Suites, luxury isn't just a word, but it's an experience. From the moment you arrive, you're invited to unwind, breathe, and step away from the noise of the busy world. Imagine waking up to the calm of the coast, wrapped in comfort, surrounded by chic design, and embraced by the quiet beauty of a space made just for you. Whether you're seeking rest, romance, or a peaceful getaway, Atlantis offers the perfect balance of style, serenity, and indulgence. Unwind, reset, and indulge in the plush embrace of elegant living. For more information, contact the number on the screen or find the booking details in our description below.
Like I said, today I'm joined by an extremely special woman. I know her as a friend, as a sister, someone who's really warm and cheerful. But you guys will get to know her in a different perspective. She is our programs director. I like to consider her as my right brain or my left brain, whatever it is, but she's my right hand. She's the person that takes care of Growing in Community when I'm not available or when I'm not fully able to show up. She's a really special woman who's committed and passionate. And I'm really excited to have you on board on today's episode.
Thank you, Suzette, for having me. Hello guys, welcome to our podcast. And yes, we've got something in store for you guys. A lot of people have asked us, what is Growing in Community all about? What are you guys doing? So here it is.
But before we get into the episode, I just want us to start with some light questions that will help our audience know us, to the new ones that want to know us, or to the people that don't really know you yet. So I have a few simple questions, very, very easy questions, of course. Like the first one is, what is something that is considered a red flag, but that you stand by? Okay, let me answer this one first. It might be a red flag to many people, but I think it's strategy in my mind. It's whenever I meet someone new, or when I'm yet to meet someone, I like to do a deep dive on them. Like I will search them on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, just to get an idea of who I'm actually dealing with, because I really believe that your social media tells me or a little bit about yourself or who you are or your taste, not fully, but it gives me an idea of who I'm working with. And also just with the whole podcast situation and the journey and working with people, it teaches you to know the people that you're partnering up with, the people that you're working with. So I don't think it's a red flag, but some might consider a red flag. In this industry, it's not a red flag.
for me is especially when I meet new people, I tend to ask very sensitive or deep questions.
That is true.
Which is for some people no-go zone.
Yeah.
You cannot ask me that question on our first meet. No. But for me, it helps me get to know you on a deeper level than other people. Yeah. So that is not a red flag for me.
Yeah. Second question. Describe a moment where you felt like the main character.
On my wedding day.
Say less. Say less. Yeah, but that you are the main character. Like, you are the main character.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, you are the main character. For me, I think it's moments. Like, every time, it's gonna sound very selfish or just, it's gonna sound weird, but whenever I look like really, really good, I feel like I'm the main character. And people are complimenting me. I feel like I'm
yourself.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm that girl. But yeah, that's also a main character thing that I do. But another one, I really like this one. Like recently, it's been dripping in the mornings. So the other day, when I was Tuesday, I went on a morning walk, and then it started like raining, little raindrops. And I felt like a main character because I'm running and it's raining, like in the movies. yeah, that was the main character moment for sure. And last one, but definitely not least, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Your husband or your mother?
Yeah. My husband. My dear husband.
He's watching this, please. Well, I don't have a husband, so I probably choose my mother, of course. So it's a no here. So yeah, I guess to start off the conversation, I'd want to know, why did you choose to be part of Growing in Community?
Okay, thinking of the question to say. So, I've heard the first time Suzette talked about growing in a community, we were at a fellowship, church fellowship. And as always, I like asking things. I like asking, okay, what do you do, day to day? So she actually told us that she's a founder of her own organization, and she talked about it, and I'm like, wow, this is very impressive, and this is really good work for a young lady her age. And I was so impressed. And yeah, we never talked about it again. And then this year we went out for a coffee date, and I was like, Suzette, I really want to partner with you in this thing that you have or going on. And it was just something that also that she stirred inside of me, that I also want to be part of something greater, part of something beyond myself. So yeah, that's the story of growing in community.
Are you joking? We just started breathing. But also to that story, I also want to add that at the time that we had the coffee date, it was in the beginning of the year, I was still pretty much deciding on who to bring on the team and praying about it. And there was another person that I had in mind that I wanted to approach, of course. And then, but I was hesitant about that person. Like, I had no vendetta against the person or anything. It was just, I was just hesitant to reach out, and like since December that I'm gonna reach out, but I never did. So at that coffee shop, now Marcel was telling me, no, she'd love to partner with Growing Community. I was like, isn't that funny? Because I was looking for someone, I am looking for someone, and she just availed herself. So I was like, oh, do you want to be part of the team, So I think it was a very God-ordained relationship that bloomed, because we barely even knew each other like that.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I think it's been one of the best decisions that I've made so far. Yeah. you. So yeah. So how has your experience been being part of growing in community so far?
Being part of growing in community has been a very joyful moment or period. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about other people and young people, and my desire to help and to facilitate or cultivate this culture of community just increased, since I joined growing in community. And I think we have this inherent desire to be part of something great, to be part of a community, and it brings so much pleasure to bring that or to give other people an opportunity to be part of something like that. Yes, and I think that gives so much fulfillment for me. Yeah.
And what does community mean to you personally?
Okay. Community means a lot to me because growing up, I did not have a mother. So my family helped my father to raise me. And when I finished school, I went to UNAM. My family was still there. When I started working, I got a new family in Christ who also supported me, was there for me, and all the jobs that I've been, I just managed to have another set of family and community, and they helped shape me and who I am today. And I would like to think of community as building blocks, bricks. So when you grow, it's like, okay, they are building on a foundation and until it's a beautiful building. So community for me is like building blocks or building,
For me, your community is really, really important. It's a word that I continually use to associate or to define community is safety. And I'll get into it, of course, later, but I'm just like, if you can get around people at your lowest or even at your highest point and you feel safe to be whoever you are, to grow, to learn, to be vulnerable, I think that is the greatest gift that people can genuinely give. It's that safety of being yourself, especially when we're living in a world where it's so performative and you're always doing things to please other people. Surrounding yourself with people that just can hold you down and you can just be yourself, like you can let your head down, like you can kind of lay even and be bold, And yeah, man, it's genuinely safety. Community for me is safety.
Beautiful. And I also think like we are made to be in community. I think growth happens in community, and healing also happens in community, whether it's the church community, whether it doesn't matter what kind of community it is, but growth and healing happens in community. And I think community plays a really significant role in our lives. Okay, so Suzette, tell us, what inspired you to establish growing community?
The most
what was the we want to know what happened.
I rarely ever have the opportunity to like briefly say this because it's changed, but just evolved over the years. But I can genuinely say that it started from childhood, honestly. Not the vision itself, but just the desire for being in community. And for context, I grew up in a unstable environment, and for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to feel safe. I was that kid that they are going through something or they want to talk to someone, but there's nobody. Not that there's nobody, but like there's nobody that I could talk to, because it was so common for people to just push things under the rug and like, you know, this thing, you don't talk about things, everything is kept quiet. So you adapt that and you're like, oh, okay, like we can talk about certain things. So I can ask my teacher, I can ask someone else to help me with the things that I'm struggling with or that I can talk about. And so journeying through life, I always struggled with opening up, speaking up for myself, or just asking for help and learning just to be independent from a really young age, and isolating. And I thrived in isolation to a point where I felt like my strength came from isolation, because the other girls were not like, they are weak because they're crying. So I was that person that didn't even show emotion at all, because I was like, if I'm showing emotion, it means that I'm weak and I cannot afford to be weak. So I went through life with that identity, with not having people around me, not having that form of safety. And I remember even this one time, like I was really, I don't know how old I was, maybe like 8, 9, maybe even 7. I was sitting outside and I was so sad. I was overwhelmed with so much sadness, and writing was always my outlet. So I started writing, and I was just like, oh, I wish someone could hug me, you know, like that was from as young as I could even get, I'm getting emotional, but like for as long as I could remember, I always just wanted someone to hug me and comfort me and tell me that everything's gonna be right. But there was nobody, so I just had to learn to be that, comfort myself, and just move on from that. I am kind of camera. And then, long story short, I grew up, of course, a teenager now. I started going to church, actively going to church. And that's where I started finding my people. I started making friends. I started developing the sense of a sense of humor. Like, people actually thought that I was funny, and I started being, you know, my personality started blooming more, because I was now in this community of people that felt safe, that was safe. I mean, I could be myself. But at the same time, it was short-lived, not short-lived, but it lasted only for a certain period, because after that it became a thing of, now I have to perform in church, now I have to play a certain role, because as a church or as a Christian, you're supposed to act a certain way, you're supposed to say certain things, where even if you say, oh no, I'm not well, or things around me are just not changing, or it's like, no, just pray about it, but you can pray about things, but your emotions are still there, the feelings are still there, and I'm a feeler, I'm a sensitive person, and I just had to suppress those emotions and just face it through, and that was quite a challenge, because that also at some point created a distance between me and God, because I was like, I'm not supposed to feel this way, but I feel this way, so I'm just going to pretend, I guess. But yeah, so now I'm drifting, but again, I've always been someone that wanted safety. So fast forward to 2023, I'm in Windhoek. I felt stuck in this point of life. Nothing was happening for me, and I decided to start a blog post. And at the time, I wanted to start a podcast, but then I didn't know how to start a podcast. It just sounded complicated. So I started a blog post. And at the time, it was called Suzette Speaks, because I wanted to give myself the opportunity of using my voice and speaking and sharing my story in hopes of encouraging someone else. So that was always been the heart of it, to share my story, share my journey, and allow other people to see that and be encouraged by that if they're also going through the same thing. And as time progressed, this vision in my head became clearer and louder, and I was like, I remember the day actually I was doing laundry, I think, and I was just thinking, daydreaming, and I was like, oh, I just wish there was like an environment where we could go and like you could be vulnerable, you could cry, just a space where you can't be judged, just a safe space where you can't be judged, you can be yourself, you can cry, you can be yourself without needing to pretend, without needing to hide. And I thought of the name Growing in Community. I was like, I I want to be in an environment where I can grow in community. That's how the name Growing in Community came to be. And yeah, long story short, that's the story of Growing in Community. I started it from a place of void and trying to fill a void and pain, and now it's become the one thing that pushes me, the one thing that keeps on calling. You know, when you say you're calling, keeps on calling you, like this is definitely it. Like the vision, I believe so much in our vision that I can't even say I want to quit. Like I have days where I'm like, I really just want to quit, but it's like the calling is so much bigger. I genuinely want to see young people restored in identity, in health, in safety, to see them thrive, to see young people restored in position again. So yeah, that's basically
Wow, that is actually a testimony. Thank you, Suzette. And I think God uses what we go through or went through. He uses our testimony to reach out to others, to bring healing or deliverance or just goodness to others as well. And like you said, you wanted to share your story and just encourage others, and we all have a story to tell. And most of the time our stories are the same, it's just different characters. So what a good way to engage and share your story and get to know how someone else overcame depression, or how someone else managed to climb up the ladder, you know. And this is very profound and beautiful, and I think we all need that. We all need a community where we are heard, where we are not judged, where we can just be ourselves and just release whatever is inside of us. So God bless you. You are a blessing. Thank you, Suzette.
Yeah, no. This is the first time I'm actually sharing that. Crazy. But yeah.
Okay, so what problems are we trying to solve here as Growing in Community?
Sure. The problems are many. The problems are many. Of course, obviously, we're trying to solve mental health problems, but when you think of one of the many root causes of mental health challenges, of course, comes from isolation being one of the main ones. I mean, there's this quote that I love, I hope I'm saying it right or quoting it right, that says, in today's time and age, we are more connected than ever, yet we are more distant than ever. And it's because as much as we are connected digitally, we are disconnected with each other socially. Like, we are no longer connecting with one another the way that we used to, like when we were kids and stuff. Things have evolved. Everybody's online, everybody's trying to be something, everybody's trying to be an influencer. And because of that, isolation has become such a huge thing now. So if I really had to answer the question, is we are trying to solve or pinpoint the root causes of loneliness and a lack of belonging. And that stems from isolation. And young people today, our generation, we are so comfortable being behind the screen than actually connecting with someone in real life, and that has become now such a stretch, to the point where we aren't even able to open up with one another, because now we think, oh no, Marcel is always on Instagram, she has like the lifestyle, so of course she's doing well, And now Marcel has this thing of, oh no, this is who I am now. Like, this is how people perceive me. So I can't even open up and talk about the things that I'm going through. I can't even go ask for sugar if I don't have sugar because people think I have money all of the time. And it's those small little gaps that are there, those invisible little gaps that are there, that are creating a barrier between asking for help and communicating and talking to other people, and that ultimately leads to mental health problems, where depression comes in, or constant wave of sadness, where suicide comes in, because now you're not talking to anybody, it's just you and your thoughts every single day.
And I also think we are trying to encourage people to open up. And because at the end of the day, you are, my friend, you are not alone. You are not the first one suffering the depression or anxiety or unemployment or whatever the issue or problems are. You are not alone. Like, there is nothing under the sun that is new. People have been through things like all these issues and problems. They have been there since 2000 years ago. They are still there, and we just want to encourage, especially young people, to reach out, to ask for help, to open up. We are so scared to open up. We are so scared to let people know who we really are. We are so scared to let people know what we're really going through, because we're used to putting up a front. We are used to having a certain persona. So we just want to encourage people, and that is what growing in community is all about, to encourage people to be their own self, you know, to just share your story. We don't judge, without any judgment. Share your story without any shame. Share your story, because by sharing your story, it also helps you to grow. It helps you to connect, because we build a wall and then to keep others out, to keep harm out, but that same wall prevents us from prevents us from receiving good things, prevents us from receiving healing, prevents us from receiving freedom. So that is what growing in community also is doing in our community. Okay, so what kind of impact do we hope to bring in the community?
Impact definitely has to be transformation, because there are a lot of great initiatives and organizations that are, you know, spreading the awareness, the mental health awareness, and a lot of young people are cognizant of that. But what we really want to see is people coming and not leaving the same way. We are really big on making people feel seen. So we don't want you just to come and then you hear like motivational stuff and you're inspired. But one of our foundational pillars is to inform, educate, and inspire. We want you to be informed of the right information. We want to educate you. Yes, we want to inspire you, but we want you to leave transformed at the end of the day. We want people to go back home to reflect. That's why even with our workshops, coffee and community gatherings or workshops, we like giving people tools. We want to give or equip people with the necessary tools, because motivation doesn't last forever, and we want people to really go back home, do the necessary work that needs to be done, and say, listen, I no longer want to be in the state of mind that I want to be, that I'm currently in. I no longer want to be surrounded by the people that I'm currently surrounded with. I no longer want to be in the environment that I am, but I want better for my life. My mentor, actually, she told me something so profound, I think last year, no, 2024, and she said, you are not a victim of circumstance, but there is more to your life and there is purpose to your life. And I think so many of us need to be reminded of that continuously. We need to actually remind ourselves of that. We need to be resilient and say, no man, there's so much more to our life. There's so much more out there. And we cannot just be so focused on what we're going through and how we're feeling that we forget that there's a whole world out there full of opportunities, full of experiences, full of people just waiting for us to tap into that more that is already in us.
Yes.
Yeah. So transformation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned that we are not a victim of our circumstances, there's a saying that says, what happened to you is not your fault, but your healing is your growth is your responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's also what we want to bring, like transformation, that sense of responsibility and authority and dominion to take back what belongs to you.
Now, before we move on, you said, you used the word healing. The word healing, it's broad, it's big, and we hear it a lot. But I wanted to explain to our audience today, what does healing realistically look like, especially around mental health? Because a lot of platforms talk about mental health, but what does healing realistically look like or practically look like?
Okay, so healing would look like you sitting with yourself and reflecting, doing introspection on whatever you are going through. It can be anxiety or depression or you name it, whatever, disease or mental disease or whatever. And you ask yourself, okay, why am I like this? What happened? Most of the time it's coming from childhood traumas. Other times it can just be a traumatic event also that happened in your life. And so healing is basically sitting with what you have or what you're going through at that point and acknowledging it, that you're going through it, and then moving forward and working on towards, okay, what should I go? Should I go get help? A professional, a counselor? Should I go for prayers, deliverance? You know, you decide what you need at that moment and not just put it under the rug or not just say, okay, I'm a survivor, I'm a strong person, or, you know, but just acknowledge and identify and see to it that you seek help. I think healing starts there.
Seeking help, asking for help. But another thing, I think this is also one of the most common questions is, how does one seek help? How does one reach out? Especially for those people that are honestly like more reserved, or they don't really know people that they can talk to, or safe people rather that they can talk to and trust. Of course, there are now medical professionals, there's free pro bono that social workers do, clinical psychologists do, but even with that, it's like, can I really take my vulnerability to a stranger that I'm probably going to meet again after like 3 months or 6 months? And where does one actually begin?
That's a good question. And I think a lot of us are struggling with that question. And a lot of us don't trust strangers or don't trust people. So I think that is also one of the challenges that people don't want to open up or share their stories. Where does one start?
Let me give this one example. Someone once told me, you know who to speak to or or you'll know how to identify someone by actually listening to them, by paying attention to the people around our lives. You pay attention to, let's say, if I'm always with Marcel and Marcel is always gossiping or she's always talking about other people, so of course she's not a safe person that I can go to. But if you see, oh no, there's Esther she carries herself differently. Esther has this wisdom to her. There's just something about Esther, man, that's quite particular, quite different than other people. You can choose to tap into it. It's also a thing of safety. You choose to tap into it and say, okay, let me actually take a step and try to talk to Esther and see, even if it's just a small thing like, oh no, I haven't been feeling well this week, and see how that goes. You don't always have to immediately open up about your whole traumatic life, but it's about starting somewhere and learning to choose people that are actually safe by observing their behaviors and watching them from a distance before you actually start talking about the things that you're going through.
Yeah. Now, what about someone who does not have an Esther in their life, who only has those gossip people?
That's why growing in community is here.
Exactly.
That's why growing in community is here. You can DM us, you can send us an email. I mean, that's even one of the main reasons why we started the newsletter. It's because we only had that one-on-one conversation with you, so that if you feel like, hey, I'm going through something similar, because we share our own personal stories of things that we've gone through. If you feel like this is something that I'm going through, this is something that I can relate to, you can send us a DM, you can send us an email. You can keep your name completely anonymous, and we can connect you to the right people, to the right professionals, or if you want, you can talk to either one of us as well. I may not be qualified to, but Marcel is, and yeah, we can always take it from there. So growing in community is definitely a stepping stone, or a starting point rather. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we want to bring transformation in our communities, and we also want to break the cycle of not stepping out, not asking for help, not seeking for help as well. So sometimes we are scared to go to someone, or we don't even have people. So growing in community is bringing it to you. Yeah.
True. And sorry, on this topic. So even with the people that we have as speakers, whether on the podcast or our gatherings, we want you to actually tap into them. If you feel like, oh no, I heard, what can I use now? A speaker, one of our speakers, or someone from the podcast that you see that you feel like you could connect with at any level, reach out and we will actually connect you with that person. We'll ask them and we can connect you with that person if that is something that you feel like you could do. If you don't want to meet up with them personally, you can do phone calls, you can do text messages, we can keep your identity private, you can keep your own identity private. But the point is to open up and actually speak to someone instead of suffering alone inside.
Yes. Yeah. And growing in community also provides networking and connections.
Yeah.
So you get to connect and network with our guest speakers who are really prominent people in society. Yes. Hey, what has been challenging about growing in community? And have you ever had doubts of just leaving and giving up on this dream?
The doubts have been there, the doubts have been loud. Challenging, the most challenging thing, there are of course a lot of challenges, resources, finance, all of these things, but the most challenging one definitely has to be consistently showing up. I don't think people emphasize that enough, but you have the vision, sure, you have the desire, you have the plan, you have the strategic plan, you have everything set in motion, but sometimes life can also be so full and so busy that you aren't able to fully show up. But you still have to show up, mind you. There's been so many instances where I'm struggling mentally or emotionally, or just I'm not in the right space to actually show up and do these things. but I still do. Yet I go back to, I believe in the vision that we are building, the vision that we have, and I choose to show up for that even when I'm exhausted. Of course, I take breaks. Of course, I take breaks when I need to. But that has been one of the most challenging things, is choosing to show up continuously. And the doubts, they will always be there. But I think over the years and over months, and the more you continually do things and show up, they are less loud. Like, they're still there, but they're not as loud as when you begin. When you begin, they're literally shouting and you even get headaches. They are there, but now it's a thing of, it's not as loud anymore. And another thing is also, there's this thing of a quote or something that goes around of, you need to believe in what you're doing, situation. And I am a huge, not testament, let me say, that I hope I don't get hate for this, but I hope I say it right, that you don't always have to, or you won't necessarily always believe in what you're doing the time that you started. Because when I started growing in community, I didn't have everything figured out. I just knew that I want to start something, a safe space for mental and emotional well-being. That's basically it. I didn't have the right structure, the right ideas. The vision wasn't really, hadn't bloomed yet. But I decided to not just bet on myself, but I decided to show up and see how far this actually goes. And the more I showed up, the more I started being consistent, the more I dared myself, the more I started doing things boldly and courageously, the more I started believing in the vision, the more doors started opening up, the more opportunities started coming my way. So it's really a thing of trusting the process, and just showing up, and just keep showing up even though things are not perfect yet.
Yeah. And I also think, when we show up consistently, God meets us there. God meets us there.
There are so many stories that I could share about that. But let me share this one particular one. Last year we did now the Build to Last event, mental health event, and it was on June 28th. And it was that week of the event. The event was going to happen on Saturday, it was now Tuesday. And that Tuesday, I found out that the municipality wasn't going to sponsor us their sound system, because they sponsored us with the venue, but not the sound system. So I was stressed, and I am a recovering overthinker. So I'm like literally stressed. I'm like, where am I going to get sound? Where am I? And it's expensive. Renting sound is so expensive. I was so stressed. I was like, God, I really don't know what to do. Like, I literally just prayed and said, God, like, there's nothing that I can do at this point, because there were also so many other things happening last minute that I needed to tend to. And I was like, God, I'm choosing to trust you with this. And I literally just prayed, said a prayer, because it became so bad. I was so stressed to the point where I had like back pains, like pains here from my head, like it was really, really bad. And I just said, God, I'm choosing to trust you with this. And come Wednesday, me and my mom went out to like set up posters around the municipality area, the library day. And then there came this guy, shout out to Freddie, and I met him there, and was like asking, oh no, what's the event about? And so we started talking. He also has like his own mental health organization, and he was like, no. And then I was telling him about, it was just like really, really friendly, and really, really nice and really, really intriguing. And I was like, oh, and he offered, and he was like, if you ever need anything, like just let me know, da da da. And at the time I had like 2 speakers that pulled out. So I was like, oh no, I need speakers because 2 people pulled out and I'm still looking for like people to replace them. So he received it as speakers, like sound, sound, and I meant like people. So we exchanged contact details, and the next day, I texted him later that evening because I was really busy. And I was like, oh no, thank you, it was really great meeting you, I hope to share the event. He was like, yeah, no, regarding the speakers, like I'll get back to you tomorrow on that. And I was like, okay, yeah, thank you very much, cool. So now I'm waiting for people now. I'm expecting people that he's gonna plug me with. And then the next day, he's like, oh no, in terms of speakers, I have a sound system. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, we'll sponsor you guys a sound system. And I was like, there is no way. A random stranger that you just met that day. And the sound system, mind you, I thought it was like, just like a mic and like one
Small thing.
Yeah. No, it was like a whole set of like serious stuff.
The real
the real deal, the real mics, wireless mics even, you know. And it was just like a real testament of just keep showing up and God will meet you exactly where you are. Like I love using the illustration of you know when David was fighting with Goliath. Yeah, it was David and Goliath, yeah. He had rocks and a slingshot. A rock and a slingshot in his hands, and I use that story as what has God given you, what has God placed in your hands, and do the most with that. And that is literally the story of growing in community. It's a consistent matter of I show up with what I have and with the people that I have around me. And hey, everything just works out. Like
the rest is up to God.
The rest is up to God. Really, the rest really is God. When the church people say, what do they say? When the church people say, where God provides, where God
sends, He'll provide.
He'll provide. Yeah, if He gave you the vision, He'll send the provision. That is true. That is true, and I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
So keep showing up. Everything will fall into place.
Yeah, this was good.
Yeah, it was. It really was. But before we close, or come to a close, is that one question. That one question was even asked by someone. Is growing in community just for girls?
Oh.
Is it just a woman thing? Is it just for ladies? Please, Marcel, please answer this, of course.
So, guys, growing in community is for females and for males and guys and men. We really strongly want to encourage men to join us, join growing community, and let's break the stigma of men are weak when they join these groups or when they just do something out of the ordinary. And I think our society also really needs men to step up, because most of our meetings in Coffee and Community is only women who subscribe, and we really want to encourage men out there, young men. Please do subscribe, do join, do show up. You never know what God has for you in one of these meetings and community activities that we have for you. You might just find your healing or deliverance or someone that can help you become greater. You never know. So with that said, we just want to encourage young men to hop on this buzz and see where it leads you.
But also not just younger men, also older men that want to pour into the young men that actually show up to these spaces, that want to be mentors, that want to support growing in community or what we're doing in capacity. We really need men to show up in such spaces to really, I want to say represent, but also just to send out a message that this mental health is not just for women. Mental health has no gender actually. It's for everybody. So please guys, show up. Guys, girls and guys, please show up. Man, and I hope we answered all or most of your questions. If not, if you guys want to send comment more questions that you might have about growing in community, what we do, our roles, what more you'd want to know of, we could even do a second episode about this or of this. But we're really excited for season 3 of Growing. I'm so excited for season 2 of Growing in Community. We are going to bring amazing people, amazing testimonies, amazing stories, man. Like our theme for the year really is meeting you exactly where you are, and in that not physically per se, but meeting you in the season that you are. And I want our guests to reflect your story. So if you also have a specific someone that's in the coast or that you might know that you want to join the podcast, and you want to see them on the podcast, please comment down below. Let us know who you want to see, who you want to hear from, because we are so ready to bring them forward.
No, that's it.
Okay. So with that being said, guys, we have come to the end of our first episode. So excited. super excited. Please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow, don't forget to leave a comment. That is how we can grow and people and just grow as an organization. So yeah, with that being said, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye.